Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Arif bin Ramli, and I want to talk about the introduction for our assignment. There are many natural resources that can be created into electricity. There is natural gas, coal, ocean tide, wine, and some others more. Some of these resources, like natural gas and coal, are limited, but some are unlimited, like the ocean tide and the wine. For our assignment, we will focus the use of the resources of oil. Fossil fuel power plant provide most of electrical energy used in our world. Fossil fuel power plant burn oil to heat the water until it produces steam, which then power a turbine and generate electricity. That steam turn propeller like blades around a rotor inside the turbine. This turning rotor connect to a main shaft with spin magnet with a coil inside a generator. It is the generator inside a turbine that convert mechanical energy into electric energy and creates the electricity. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Izzat Amin Zainuddin. My metric number 201091004. I'm from electrical engineering. So for today, I would like to present about assignment 1 for subject power system engineering. So for my group, the title was given is all power generation. So for today, I would like to present about my part is theory. So theory about all power generation. Firstly, actually, all was the primary fuel source of other steam generated plant. These plants were designed to burn heavier grade of coal rather than lighter weight heating oil. Although they can use either type. Before the early and mid 1970, oil was plentiful and cheap. After the crisis, oil price skyrocket and using oil generate electricity become extremely expensive. So today, only 2% of the United States utility net generation come from oil fire plant. So power plant that burn oil to produce electricity are called oil fire plant. They are no different in generate principle and operation for their fossil fuel cuisine. The coal fire and natural gas fire plant and are even similar to geothermal and nuclear power plant in some respect. So all fire steam generating plant, graphic of fire steam generating plant are relatively simple. All is stored in large storage tank and pumped through delivery line into the boiler. The amount of flow of oil controlled by valve, which can increase or decrease the flow of oil depending on the amount of the thing needed to generate electricity. The turbine, generator, condenser are similar to tools in other type of steam generating plant. So oil is also burned as a backup fuel at natural gas and coal-fired steam generating plant. This plant maintain a backup supply of oil since it can be stored in large storage tank for extended period. Should the supply of natural gas or coal be interrupted, the plant operator switch to burning oil to make steam. So this explains why it's common to see or storage tank at natural gas and coal power plant.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Fadli bin Azmi, and I'm going to present my part, which is the mathematical model representing expected total power generation. First of all, what is mathematical model? Mathematical model is a process of describing problem in mathematical term in a form of equation. By using this equation is to help understand the problem and also to discover new feature about the problem. Before I go to the math model, firstly I will discuss about the capacity of oil-fired power plant in Malaysia. There are 5 oil-fired power plant in Malaysia. The first one is Glugo Power Station. Glugo Power Station is in Glugo, Penang, one of the largest capacity with 398 megawatt that use combined cycle, which is coal and oil, followed by the strata-based power station in Sandakan with 60 megawatt. The other 3 power station which also in Sabah are Melawar Power Station, Tawau Power Station and Sandakan Power Cooperation Plant, which has a capacity of 50 megawatt, 36 megawatt and 34 megawatt respectively. So for this assignment, the mathematical model involved in representing total energy generation are expected total energy generation equals to the total energy generated times with the total hour of operation. Here I give you an example. The Glugo power plant has a capacity of 398 megawatt. If the power plant runs for one full day, 398 megawatt times with 24 hours, the power generated is 9,502 megawatt. Meanwhile, for one whole year, 398 megawatt times with 8,760 equivalent for 365 days, the total power generated are 3,486,480 megawatt. Lastly, I will briefly talk about the process of oil power generation. Oil-fired power plant can be divided into 4 main departments. The first one is oil storage, to store oil for combustion. Second part is combustion chamber, process where to create steam from boiling water. The third is turbine. Turbine is a machine that extracts thermal energy from steam and use it to move rotating output shaft. And lastly, the generator. Generator convert kinetic energy to electrical energy. That's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum and very good morning to our respected lecturer. Now I will present my part, that is content 1 and content 2. First content, how many of the population got access to the electricity produced? Then, the globe is falling short achieving the globe energy target set in the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal (SDG) for 2030. Despite tremendous progress in recent years, after 10 years of steady development, 153 million people worldwide now have access to electricity at a rate of 89%. The most difficult problem still exists in Sub-Saharan Africa and the world's most remote region, where 473 million people still lack access to light. A grid option will be essential for connecting the poorest and most difficult to reach households. A free solution provides at least 34 million people worldwide access to basic electrical service in 2017. The research emphasizes the significance of dependable and affordability for access to sustainable. Next content, percentage of the type of power generation in the energy mix. One of the 3 elements that make up total energy generation is electricity. The other 2 are heating and transportation. The split of source, coal, oil, gas, nuclear power and renewable energy in the production of electricity differ from that of the energy mix. As can be seen in greater detail in figure 1, Nuclear power and renewable energy sources typically make up a higher portion of our electrical mix than our overall energy mix. Globally, the production of the solar and wind energy is increasing quickly. Naturally, this is encouraging news as we work to transition away from fossil fuel in our energy system. One part of our energy consumption is electrical, also known as power. The two are heating and transportation, where we read headline on our discrimination progress, the site. The lifeblood of modern society is oil. Technology has been developed around the benefit that fossil fuel can bring for more than a century. It has contributed to the development of our society, making life better and safer than it has ever been. This advantage has not been free of expense. One of the most environmentally damaging energy sources available to us today is oil. This has caused emission to the release into the atmosphere, and because of the possibility of them contribute to global warming, they have been called to limit or remove them. For advantages, oil energy has a few benefits and drawbacks that need to be carefully weighed to preserve the benefit while minimizing the drawback. First, solar and wind products are great because of oil energy technology. Although there is fossil fuel investment into these energy resources, solar and wind reduce the overall consumption effect on emission because the fuel is not being constantly burned to produce energy. Second, oil energy is cheap because there is more than a century of innovation behind this technology. We can produce cheap energy through the consumption of oil. Our infrastructure are based on this technology as well, which means we can transport oil over a long distance to provide modern energy needs to assembly rural and isolated areas. Third, it offers a high density energy. Although we consume millions of barrels of oil daily, it is a remarkable high density energy product. That means a small amount of oil can produce a large amount of energy. That is why the fuel behind industrial can center and our transportation we need. Next, for the disadvantages. Fuel oil is bad for environment. First, pollution impact communities. Air pollution from fossil fuel is known as the invisible killer. It can lead to respiratory, cardiovascular, and other diseases, and is responsible for more than 30% of dead people aged 40 and older in the United States. Fossil fuel development can also leak toxic substances into the soil and drinking water source, cause cancer, birth defect, and labor damage. Second, dangerous emission through climate change because while we are all impacted, black, brown, indigenous, and working class communities are feeling the heat. Quite literally, due to unjust housing policies and practices, this communication often live in trailers, constrained neighborhoods that are more susceptible and extreme weather events. This group also have a harder time accessing natural landscape that can help mitigate climate. Oil spill can be deadly to animal disease because of big oil spill are big killer of wildlife and can cause long-lasting damage to marine ecosystem. Just think of PVD water horizon spill in Gulf of Mexico. The 2010 incident spread oil across 68,000 square miles of sea surface and killed approximately. Smaller spill during oil and gas extraction don't always make headline, but can also be dangerous. Drilling fluid injected into well for lubrication, now as mud, supposed to be captured in line piece for disposal. However, this often leak and are splashed around drilling site. Lastly, environmental issue. Issue related to human impact on the living environment, habitat and use and natural resources. The following list shows some of the main known environmental issues of oil power generation. First, the term air quality. Describe whether there is air pollution or not. People and other organisms' health can be harmed by the presence of toxins like dioxin, particles, and acid gas, which cause of acid rain and more. However, the related of these substances from natural sources such as forest, fire, and volcano can also have impact on air quality. Air pollution from human source has significantly increased in recent century. Next, the area of public health known as environmental health is focused on how the built and natural environment affect human health. The standard that must be met to produce the health environment must be identified to effectively control factors that may have an impact on health. For the benefit of human health, environmental health places a special emphasis on the built and natural environment. Environmental science, toxicology, environmental epidemiology, and environmental and occupational medicine are the main subfield in environmental health. Lastly, climate change is a large and long-lasting alteration on the planet's climate over time. In this article, we analyze the effect of an increase in the planet, ocean, and atmosphere average temperature for 19th century for the present, due to a few reasons such as sensitivity to extreme weather and infrastructure consideration. Development countries are predicted to be far more negatively impacted by climate change than developed countries. That's all from me. Thank you.
I will continue with content 3. So the question is, are there any government's commitment towards promoting a sustainable and cleaner production of the type of power generation? So the burning of oil in casting factories is one of the main causes of environmental pollution, since it releases harmful gas like carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, nitrogen dioxide, sulfur dioxide, and suspended particulates when it is burned. This project's goal is to choose the finest environmentally friendly oil for use in small-scale casting factories in the Indian city of Agra. Performance, quality, and cost are seen to be the most important factors, with alternatives including vegetable oil, keranja oil, like diesel oil, and jatropha oil. So the government that commit toward promoting a sustainable and cleaner production of the type of power generation, India. I choose India because India ranks as the second largest casting producer with an estimated 7.44 megaton of various grades of castings produced as per international standards. Next, for content 4, the question is, compare 3 of the power generation already existing in Southeast Asia. In this slide, show bar chart of total energy supply by Southeast Asia of 5 types of power generation. There are coal, oil, natural gas, traditional of biomass, and renewable energy. The 3 of them that I choose are oil, coal, and renewable. As we can see in the statistic, at oil demand, the status policy scenario increase, then the sustainable development policy scenario decrease. Then also same for the coal, the sustainable development decrease and the status policy scenario increase. Not for renewable energy, that the sustainable development scenario and the state policy increase. In the conclusion, oil power generation is a positive and important game changer for international business and energy production. In a world that is always changing, it also holds a great level of responsibility for protecting natural resources and guaranteeing environmental sustainability. However, the current pattern of electricity generation cannot be maintained in the near future due to environmental effects and the depletion of fossil fuel reserves. Regarding these 2 key technologies, renewable energy and energy efficiency can give the push needed to achieve sustainable energy for oil power generation, especially when using fossil fuels storage system demand side management, smart grids, and others energy-saving measures can all contribute to increase the sustainability of the energy supply. By utilizing renewable energy sources and putting energy-saving technique into practice, it can produce sustainable power. Thank you.